Hello, I'm Luke Capasso, and I would like to share with you my miniatures. Few items do I cherish more than my collection of fine miniatures. My kids like to refer to them as my dollhouse, but that's because they are assholes. I don't play with dolls. These are dioramas of Western life, much like you might find in a museum. But these were made by my grandmother. This cabin was made specifically for my grandfather. Why these two spaghetti-bending wop dagos would be so enamored with early Western American life is a conversation for another day. Along with the cabin, I have this humble Victorian house. My grandma made many. Some were huge, multiple floors, working switches and lights. All the doors and windows were open. This was made for kids. This wasn't one of the ones we weren't allowed to touch. As a kid, I used to play with the cabin a lot. But as I grow older, I become more and more drawn to this general store. It gives me peace to look at it. Everything's all organized, settled. I like looking at this little dapper gentleman in his tidy professional attire. And he just stands at the ready in the business he built himself. Just kind of a reminder of like this lost era of American commerce. In any frontier town, the general store were people's only link to civilized goods. More broadly, it just makes me think of the type of dude who just gets stuff done. I like to call this man Vic. Men like him have one-syllable names. Speaks few words, only as it pertains to his business. There's no fluff with a dude like this. No bullshit. He doesn't listen to the town gossip except as it pertains to his shop. Like, oh, Karen's pregnant. I better get some baby stuff in here. But Karen's husband's been away for a long time. Oh, better get some bullets or coffin stuff. There might be a killing. He might have some strong, uneducated opinions about the Chinese or something like that, but he just keeps them to himself. And I like that. Just a classic man. People like Vic are going extinct. They stopped making them. You couldn't fuck with them even if you wanted to.
Yo, Vic, what up, player?
Good morning, Luke. How was your weekend?
Probably not as good as you, Vic, with that big old dick, big old rhino dick, Vic.
Oh, I just worked around the house a bit.
You see a fire and you just pound it out like a rhino, you know what I mean?
Are you still working at the Haley house? I have some of the fittings you ordered. The manufacturer suggests using a nylon-based sealant tape with them.
Nylon tape, I'll nylon tape your butt cheeks open and make a birdhouse out of you. What do you think about that?
Well, I think you should use it, or otherwise it might void out the warranty of the fittings.
You never break character. Because this character was chiseled out of stone. I've known quite a few Vics in my day, and I credit them for being patient enough to put up with my bullshit long enough to teach me some things. Vic was from a time where one just selected a mate. Maybe the village had 4 eligible women, and Vic had his pick. He didn't choose the prettiest or the most clever, just the one that seemed to be the most solid of mind and spirit. A practical woman to fit a practical life. She doesn't require constant feedback or a man to be her emotional wheelbarrow. After a meal, he might simply make the slightest sound. And a nod. She knows what he means. She knows she is appreciated by him through his consistency. He kisses her goodbye in the morning. And and only on Sunday do they have sex. Missionary. No mouth stuff. She never gets off. But she loves him, and he loves her. The cabin has a very strong sentimental value to me. I don't mess with it too much. It never usually looks this nice. But I let whatever kid visits play with it and trash it, and they do. I feel kind of obliged to let them, because I used to trash it when I was a kid. That and just too many people live here. Granny does her best, but she's getting a bit old, and she has kind of a boys will be boys attitude that doesn't serve her very well. And you don't normally see a man sleeping in the bed during daytime hours, but old Jim's about done for. The man by his bedside is a Kondo. He's from the Kiowa tribe. His family was killed and his tribe was scattered, so he decided to stay on and work with the white man. He's not sitting by Jim's bed because he cares about him. Just nothing brings a Kondo more pleasure than watching a white man die from his own stupidity. Earlier that day he went on a hunt with Jim, and he told him not to sleep under a certain tree. Jim laughed in his face. "Why, did your great ancestor turn into a tree? You think you fuckers are so smart." His ancestors had nothing to do with it. Earlier that day, a Kondo had seen a timber snake in the tree. Since Jim seemed to know everything, a Kondo just stayed quiet. Just a closer walk with thee. Granted, Jesus is my plea. Daily walking close to thee, let it be, dear Lord, let it be. No one seems too truly bothered by Jim's death. Not just because Jim was a prick, but death is a part of Western life. It's more common than the snowfall. Granny here traveled from Scotland as a small child, went to Bristol, caught a ship to Boston, moved westward. Every stage of her journey, she would never see that place again. Every group she left with looked completely different by the time they arrived. She's had 14 children and survived 9 of them. All the funeral does is just serves as a reminder that this life is temporary. Granny hopes when it's her turn to be buried in the heart of Kalichi, then maybe there lie some answers. Sometimes she wonders if maybe she should just be seeking the question. And a funeral is one of the few times Vic closes the shop, but he's right back to work. Well, friends, I want to thank you for stopping by.